Hello, my name's Galena. I'm the fiance of Joshua Lee McCollister, who was murdered on July 8th by Deunn Willis and robbed by Danielle Durand. It is really difficult for me that Danielle Durand is not being charged with murder. And I didn't understand why that was, because I'd heard what had happened from the two other people that were there. You know, if they had just robbed and killed Josh, if he'd been alone, I guess a lot of this would be a moot point. We wouldn't know what happened. We wouldn't know who killed him. But that's the thing. There were two witnesses. So I know all the details. And that's why I'm very confident that, of course, Deunn Willis is going to be convicted. It's just a matter of whether or not his attorney can somehow weasel a plea bargain in so he doesn't get the maximum penalty. And that's why I'm doing these videos, to make sure that that does not happen. But I think people need to understand why Danielle Durand is getting basically a slap on the wrist for what she did. So I'm going to explain what she did, because I saw people in both families just hugging her so nicely out there in that courtroom hallway, being so supportive. And I get it, you want to support your family members. I think, though, exactly what she did out there needs to get known, because I can't believe anybody would stand by her after what she did out there. So she put up an ad on NextDoor, free puppies. And my fiance responded. He got a puppy from her for our kids, for our two autistic kids. He really wanted one of them in particular, to have that puppy as an emotional support animal. We talked about getting one lots of times because our son is nonverbal. And Josh, he'd been nonverbal as a kid, and he really thought a puppy would help. So he got this puppy. He and his friends played with it for hours, had a great time. And then Danielle Durand showed up and demanded the puppy back. She talked about her dad. She talked about how she wanted the puppy back for her dad. And Josh said no. He'd already taken pictures of this puppy, had it sent to me. Obviously, I was going to show the kids. He'd promised this puppy to our kids. That's how he saw it. I know, because I know him. But no way he was going to give it up. Especially, it was named Captain Scallywags. That's what he named it, and that was his nickname for his wife, Colleen, that had passed away. So when he refused, up pops Deunn Willis and points a gun at him. He'd never met Deunn Willis. It's just suddenly this guy's got a gun on him, got a gun on his friends. Okay. They got the puppy back. They could have just left. They didn't. My fiance was shot, sitting down. My fiance didn't have a gun. He hated guns. Just shot him. And then they headed for the hills. 4 years ago, Danielle Durand would have been charged with murder, right alongside Deunn Willis, but I had to find out the hard way. This is something I found out from the prosecutor, that under current law, only the person who actually pulls the trigger during a robbery can get charged with murder. The other people there that are robbing, they can instigate all they want. They can instigate to their heart's content, but unless they actually pull that trigger, they won't get charged. That's why she's getting off and not being charged with murder. It's not because she's not guilty. It's because she found essentially a loophole, that if she winds her man up to do something, he'll go down, but she won't. So I have some words for her and for her family about what she did out there. let's just say that this was me and Josh going somewhere, and Josh had pulled a gun on someone. You know what I would have done? I would have said, "Oh my God, baby, put that away before someone gets hurt." Danielle Durand didn't say anything to that effect at all. Or I would have actually stepped in front of the gun, because he's not going to shoot me, and said, "Baby, put that away. Someone could get hurt." No. She was fine with that gun being pointed at my fiancé. She was fine with it being pointed at his friends. She didn't do one single thing to bring her man down, to de-escalate the situation. Not one single thing did she do. She was just focused on getting that puppy back for her dad. She didn't care who got hurt. And she knew my fiancé was shot. She knew. Did she go up and try and save him? Did she say, "Oh my God, this is a terrible accident. The gun went off. Here, let me apply some pressure to your bleeding"? No. She didn't do one thing to try and save my fiancé's life. She didn't try to help him physically. She didn't call 911. That's something that you, the families, can really give some thought to. If this was all just a terrible accident, why didn't she call 911? Or heck, why didn't she turn herself in? She didn't do that. She saved her own ass, is what she did. Or tried to. So one of the things, I know that my fiancé, with some of his last breaths, he made sure that the people that did this to him were going to get caught. And I'm so proud of him for that. He made sure that that ad she put up on NextDoor got copied. He went down fighting, because he was tough. He was a fighter. Let's just say that he hadn't. Let's just say that they hadn't been able to catch these two bastards. I wonder how many other people they've done this to, because, you know, they were really cavalier about pulling that gun. They were really cavalier about him being shot. Why is it that Danielle Durand's face and Deunn Willis's face isn't in the newspapers, isn't on the front page of the newspapers in Humboldt County? How many other people might they have done this to, I wonder? How many people would come forward to police and say, "Yeah, I got robbed by Deunn Willis and Danielle Durand too"? You're not going to find out the answer to that unless you put these people's pictures up in such a way that Eureka can see them, that Arcata can see them, that McKinleyville can see them. I'm going to make sure that that happens. I'm going to make damn sure that Danielle Durand's face gets plastered and Deunn Willis's face gets plastered, where every potential victim can see them. Anybody that's watched Forensic Files or anything to that effect knows that someone that would do something like this, it's not going to be an isolated incident. They're too casual about this kind of violence. They didn't panic. She didn't like, oh my God, what happened? No, she was calm. All she cared about was getting her dad's puppy back. Well, you know what I care about? I care about Josh's dad. I care about his needs, not Danielle Durand's dad's needs. I care about the father of my fiance's needs. And what he needs to know is that justice was done here. That's what Josh's mother needs to know too, that justice was done. I will not back down. Absolutely not. I'm going to make sure that everybody knows what you did and that everybody sees your picture. You should be getting charged with murder. You should also be facing 25 to life for what you did to my fiance. He was a good man. He was a kind man. He would have done anything to help a stranger out. Anybody that knows him knows that he would have done that. But you came after the puppy he'd gotten his kids. You know, it's a really weird idea. You hear all these stories about people using puppies, specifically puppies, in order to target people in order to be a predator, like, hey, I have puppies in the back of my van, do you want to come see? That's what you guys did here. That's exactly what you did. You used a puppy in order to kill somebody. Because if the idea wasn't to shoot somebody, why bring a gun in the first place? Like, when Josh said, no, you can have the puppy back, why didn't you say, like, okay, come on, I'll give you $100 for a puppy? Why did you automatically go to the gun? It's not normal. Psychologically, that is just not a normal thing to do. And it was a real mistake. A real mistake to murder the fiancé of someone who hunts serial killers. You think you're the first person like you I've run into? Not at all. I guarantee you, I will be the first serial killer hunter you've gone up against. The first, but not the last. Man, is killing Joshua Lee McCollister a big mistake on your part? Really freaking was.